Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Are the Russians entitled to strike training camps in Germany, Poland, or wherever these training camps for the for the Ukrainian army? Are they entitled to hit those training camps? So where the Ukrainian army or military is trained, could or should the Russians hit them? Why do I ask this question? I put this in the perspective of across the board. So if a rule is a rule, if a law is a law, or if I justify my actions based on a certain kind of logic, then you should have the same right. If you don't, that means I'm unfair. That means what I accuse you of doing, is wrong because I just say, well, only I can do that. Why? Again, we revert back to the foundation of all things. We are the good, and you are the evil. All right, that's how it works. So I have this article here from Ukrinform, an Ukrainian media outlet. I'm just using it. You can find this article and others in the free media, the good media, stating that the Ukrainian forces, the Ukrainian military, soldiers, are trained in various countries like Great Britain and Germany. And in this case, this article comes from March 8, 2023. It says that 9,000 Ukrainian soldiers to undergo training in Germany this year. And it says in a meeting of EU defense ministers in Sweden, German Defense Minister Boris Pistorius said that a total of 9,000 servicemen of armed forces of Ukraine will undergo training in Germany by the end of the year. So let's discuss this thing. I will compare this with, let's say, the freedom fighters, however you want to call it, considered by some freedom fighters, some others are considered terrorists. Let's say in Afghanistan. In Afghanistan or in Syria, the United States executes strikes, killing, how should I put it? They say terrorists. Those guys are other people's freedom fighters or people that are not designated as terrorists. So, United States decides that those guys in that country, which is a sovereign country, Afghanistan or Syria or Iraq, those are terrorists and they have training camps. Therefore, the United States reserves the right of self-defense to attack those with drones or missiles or commandos. And they did it before. So remember, foreign state, sovereign state, independent state. These guys decide you have people over there that threaten our security, threaten us. Therefore, we reserve the right to hit inside of your country, violate your airspace and whatever, and kill those bad people that we consider bad people that would come to kill us. Now, I will give you another example. Israel, under the definition or whatever claim that, and I don't care about that, it's whatever they say, self-defense, they again reserve the right of hitting targets in Syria. Again, Israel, independent sovereign state, Syria, independent sovereign state. Israel claims that in Syria there's some terrorists, Iranians or others, that plan attacks on Israel. Therefore, their self-defense, they preemptively, or at least they destroy those guys. And they send warplanes from time to time in Syria, violate their airspace, kill those guys in those camps, or destroy airports like they just did in Aleppo, allegedly, yesterday. And they destroyed others as well. And they come back. And they say, well, we can do this in self-defense because we decided that those guys over there are our enemies and they will come to kill us. Now let's put this Russia, independent sovereign country, Germany in this case, or Great Britain, independent sovereign country. These guys train people to come and kill Russians in Ukraine, right? Or on the front, however we want to call it. So from, again, the perspective of the Russians, as the Americans have the right to have their perspective and the Israeli forces have the right to have their perspective, those guys are the enemies, right? So you train my enemy on your territory. So if we use the same rule, same justification, mentality that, hey, from the Americans, let's say in Afghanistan or in Syria, you train our enemies, we can hit them in your country, and they do. Israeli forces, hey, Syria, you train, or terrorists or people that would attack us are trained on your territory, therefore in self-defense we're going to blow them up. Well, how about Russia, which is in a hot war with these guys, and you know for sure that these guys are going to come back and kill their people. So from the Russian perspective, just as Israel and US's perspective, they could say, wait a minute, you guys train people that will kill us, and in self-defense we have to blow those camps up. Why is not happening? I mean, because these are the bad dudes and those are considered the good dudes? Is that what it is? But the principle of self-defense, of personal threat, they are in a war over there, so you can't go around it. I'm not going to start with, oh, the Russians started. No, actually the West started. No, the West provoked. No, actually it was unprovoked. Because if I go like that, I can go with many things about the United States and the terrorists. I can go with Israel and the terrorists. Because you say, wait a minute, why is Israel having all these guys around and they hate them and all that? And you can go to many reasons. You can go to what? To 1948, was it? The formation, the creation of the State of Israel. Do you think those guys liked it over there? You can say, well, that's the beginning. Or you can go even back and say, well, wait a minute. They took their land. Who took what? So again, I'm not going to go into that. I'm going to go again to the United States. Why do they attack those terrorists? Oh, because they attacked us September 11. Okay, who are those guys? Oh, those guys were from Saudi Arabia. So what the hell? Oh, they were Al Qaeda. Okay, Al Qaeda. Who created? Who helped Mujahideen in Afghanistan in 1979, 1980 against the Soviets? Who armed those? Who then became this and then became that? You. So you see, if you go like this, who created the terrorists? I say, okay. Don't talk about the past. Okay, don't talk about the past. Let's don't talk about then who initiated the Ukraine war. Because from the Russian side, it was the other side. From the other side, it was the Russians. All right? And I think it's in between. But I can see both sides at least. And I'm coming back to this issue of hitting the training camps of the people who would come and kill me. What do you think? I mean, it's just everything works, not everything, but when you talk about power, it's about this. Who's in charge is the one who has the biggest this. And then the rest is adjusted to fit the reaction. So let's say I'm the biggest guy in the parking lot and I'm going over there and punch someone in the face. They're going to say, well, how can we fit that so Emily is not guilty? And they're going to do some mental gymnastics in order to tell the others that did not see the incident. They will report to those, actually Emil was provoked and Emil restrained himself as much as he could, but when those guys pinched him, he just knocked the guy out, right? Not that I actually, when I say, hey, what the hell are you looking at? Huh? Bang. No, it was not like that, because that would show thugness and based on strength, on power. The other one would be, oh, poor Emily was just attacked, somehow was pinched or something, not regardless if that's true or not. So everything comes from power. So they commit first the crime here, and then I say, well, this is how it went. Instead of saying, no, wait a minute, this was all calculated. No, they make to fit the narrative which would not blame me. So here the narrative is made, don't blame those, but blame the other ones. So I'm just wondering why the Russians, I know exactly why, but I never heard anybody saying this. Like even in a weasel way, a Russian guy, I never heard anybody saying this. Maybe after this, you're going to hear some crazy saying things. Saying, you know what, we reserve the right to, eliminate those enemies that we consider them as being terrorists, or whatever term you want to give them, in self-defense, because they were going to come and terrorize us, and blah, 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 therefore we're going to do it. Or don't even say it, just do it. Well, you know why. I mean, again, it's based on this, not on base of rule of law and blah, blah, blah. Because if you go by the rule of law, you got to question the other one's activities wherever they conduct them. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.